Assalamu alaikum. Now let's look at something advanced. Because, as you know, in Arabic we have the problem that the rules or the grammar rules for numerals, for numbers, are extremely overloaded. The Arabs have completely overloaded their language or the grammar of their language when it comes to counting with numbers, because it's very complex and it is not very flexible. It's generally the way words are built in Arabic and such things, or how a genitive an idafa is, or idafa like it's called, is very unflexible in Arabic. And so it's with numbers, it's very complex how to use them, but it's also unflexible, and then we'll have some trouble for modern expressions. For example, if we want to count with numbers that have dots or comma, which is 0.5, 0.01 and such things, the question is how can we express that, and especially if you want to use measurements like meter or kilogram. So let's have a look at it. For example, how do you say this in Arabic? 7 meters. Sab'atu amtaran, right? That's what you learn if you study Arabic. You read this as sab'atu, normal genitive connection, sab'atu amtaran, right? This is sab'atu amtaran. How do you read this? 1 meter. You read it as, you will not believe it, meter. Just metrun. You just say the word meter, and that's it. You could add wahidun, but this is optional. That's not really the point. It's not enough if you say meter. And even in common language you maybe hear that. But now we have a problem. If we want to use numbers smaller than 1, for example 0 dot, or in Arabic they use a comma, like in German 0,7, 0.7 meters. Okay, I found a way to express that in Arabic correctly. We do it like this. First we look at the 0, then we say the word for 0, sufr, sufrun. Then we stop, and then the next word will be the comma, fasilatun, fasilatun, and then we stop again, and then for the rest of the few remaining parts we will just take this old formula here and place it after fasila, which is sab'atu amtaran. Sab'atu amtaran. So we take sab'atu amtaran and place it here, and before that term we will say fasilatun, which means comma, and before that we'll say sufrun, which means 0. But now I've stolen the space here, sorry. So now what if we want to say 0.1 meter? I promise you it's more difficult than you might expect. First, same formula like here, we will say sufrun, and then we stop. Next thing is this comma, fasilatun, And now what remains is the 1 and the meter. So we must place this here like we had it before. 0.متر. I mean, that would apparently be correct, but the question is, will anyone understand you if you want to build a house and say we need 0.2 metern? And the same problem will occur if you have 0.2 meters, because you can also not use the 2 for counting, but you will use the dual form of meter. The thing which you count, you will say, this is just read as metran. You will use the dual form of meter, which is metran. So here, exactly the same problem, metran. So how can you read this? 0.2 metran, 0, comma, and then meter in the dual form. It's not really an impact, so that you know what the other person means directly. Okay, who really cares? I think they will just read the number 0.1, of course, without the case endings, and then meter. And then they will say meter, and they don't care if it's a genitive or anything. And maybe they will just read this as 7 meter. They will read the 7 and then the letter meme for meter. Well, but that's, it's not really a full explanation. The question is, how could you teach it if you wanted to teach someone Arabic? What would be the correct definition of how to read such expressions with numbers, especially with numbers smaller than 1? And of course, the other thing is you could read 0.2 meters as a fifth meter, metrin, or something like that. You will take the word for a fifth, but still the question is, okay, and what are you supposed to do if it's something like this? 0.0171 meter. And how are you supposed to, if you want to read this, you cannot take the Arabic words for a fifth or a fourth. That will not work with this expression here. So that's why we need to continue with this normal strategy here. And then it would be 0.017 metrun. Maybe just 0.017 من الأمتار, from the meters, of the meters. As you can see, there's not really a final answer. I'm wondering if anyone has ever tried a challenge to define how to read numerals into technology or in physics or chemistry, how to express these things in accurate Arabic. Well, I will leave the rest to you. مع السلامة.